things that I've learned from competing is that your intelligence and your strategy and the ability to balance, especially for me because I compete in the Mrs. division where all of the women are married, we all have husbands, we all have children, and a lot of us have businesses, so it takes a lot of balance. So, that's one of the things that I like to really impart to women, to learn how to balance even from now, because at some point you will be somebody's wife, you will be somebody's mother, and then you still have your career or your dreams or your visions. A lot of times women think because we're married or we have kids that has to stop us from achieving what we want. Yes, it's a little bit more work, and yes, you do have to work a little bit harder, but it's definitely worth it. So that's something that I always want to leave with women. But most importantly is about self-esteem and self-worth. Competing in beauty pageants has really taught me to be confident in my own skin, because I've honestly competed against some women that are so pretty. Like, you can't literally help but to stare at them. Like, they just that pretty, like, oh my God. And I'm able to still be confident in my skin and who I am. One thing I want you guys to really understand is to never be intimidated by another woman's beauty, by another woman's talent, or by what another woman has. Because you will meet women that have a lot more than you. You'll meet women that will have less than you. And sometimes we get intimidated by women that don't even have what we have, or don't have as much as what we have. And what happens when we get intimidated or we allow intimidation to creep in is we become envious or we become jealous of somebody else. And we focus so much on what somebody else is doing or what they have or the life that they have, that we don't focus on what God has given us. God has given each and every one of you something that will give you the ability to be great. But it's how you are with that gift, the type of steward you are with the gift. There are people that become millionaires from making a Q-tip. And a Q-tip is a simple thing, or a hairpin is a simple thing. But they took it and they mastered it, and they did the most, or made the most of it. So I want you guys to not look at whatever your gift is or whatever God has given you and look at it as something small because you're measuring it next to what somebody else has. Find your purpose, find your gift, and perfect it. And sometimes it might not work the first time, it might not even work the second time, but it's all about how much you continue to press and how much you continue to work. This is my second time competing at Mrs. Miami. I didn't win the first time. I didn't win the second time, and now I'm going to Florida, and I'm going to compete again. Why? Because I'm determined to win Mrs. Florida. And see, what happens with us a lot of times when we don't win or something doesn't work out the way we want it to work out, we just give up. And I didn't win Mrs. Florida, but I'm traveling all over the world as Mrs. Miami. A lot of people would have put their sash and a crown away, would have never wore it again because, you know what, I didn't win, I'm done, I'm over it. But I'm booked for the rest of the year as Mrs. Florida. As Mrs. Miami, and it's basically, I'm doing the job of Mrs. Florida and I don't even have it. And I'm saying this and I share this with you to say so you can see, I might look like I have it all together, but I've lost a lot. But it's how you take the loss and what you do with the loss. In every loss, there's an experience or something that you can learn from. And you have to take those learning experiences and you have to make the most of them. And another thing that I want to really talk about to you is about relationships. We're living in a time where social media has created a hashtag or created a persona of a relationship gold. And we're so focused on relationship goals that we see in pictures, that we see on movies, Instagram, social media, because it's 30-something thousand likes on a photo. And I'm here to tell you that a relationship goal is not a photo. It's not a viral post on Instagram. It's not a viral post on Facebook. The blueprint to a relationship is Bible. God has given us all the principles of what we should expect or what a relationship is. And I want you to really hold yourselves at a high value, because the value that you put yourself at is the value that a man is going to respect you at, or what he's going to have you. You have to carry yourself as wife material even before you are married. A lot of people wait till they get married and they just decide they're gonna magically become a wife and all. You have to present yourself as that. You have to present yourself as a whole person. Because women, we don't understand the power we have. Yes, the men are the head. and all that stuff and all the great stuff. But we were created because they need us. They were alone. Adam was alone, and God created Eve. And that's how important we are. So that's what I want you to really understand, your value, your self-worth, and how important you are as a woman. And wait as long as you can. I'm one for abstinence. You know, I know that that's not everybody's road and everybody's choice all the time. But I'm telling you, if you do it God's way, it is so worth it. My husband and I, we decided that we was gonna wait, and it was the best decision that we could have made. So I want you guys to try your best to keep yourselves pure, to keep yourselves holy. Your temple is the only temple that you have, and it is valuable. Treat yourself. The way you treat yourself is the way people will perceive you, okay? So 3 things: your self-worth, and also your value, and your relationship with God are the most important things, okay?